Welcome back again to Spotlight, where we feature the University of Central Arkansas's College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. I'm Donna Lampkin-Stevens. Joining me today is my friend of a long time, Shauna Meador, who is the third-year chair of the Department of Film, Theater, and Creative Writing. Yes. So, welcome back. It's been a while.
It has been a while. It has.
We took a COVID hiatus, and so nobody's been around for a while.
Right, right.
So Shauna, tell us about what's going on in your department. It's a very creative, a very busy department. So what's going on during your third year?
We have so many things going on. It's been crazy with the transition from COVID, because we are, film and theater are very much in-person kind of groups. We didn't transition very well to online, all online. So, but creative writing did a lot better than we did. So it's been really good to get back together, and we're back to producing plays in more of a normal way, and so that's really wonderful. And film is back to being able to work more at 100%. Okay. So yeah.
So let's talk about each of the three programs. Now, theater is your home program. Remind
Yes.
us of your background when you got
my
here.
background, well, actually, I was a student here, got here in 1989, so and got my degree in theater. And my background is really in costume design. Although I've tinkered in everything. I've done some directing, I've done scenic design, so dabbled in a lot of all of it. But yes, so theater is my home program.
And you came back here to teach after your MFA at Purdue.
Yes, and so I've been back here since 2003.
Okay. And
then took over as chair in 2019.
So what's going on with theater?
Well, we are getting back to normal. It's interesting because you get in the habit of doing something, you get into a groove of doing something, and then when that is disrupted, it actually kind of takes a long time to get back into it. It's sort of like what's going on with the supply chain right now. It seems like it'll all just come right back, but it doesn't. So we're getting back into the groove of doing that.
Have you had a production yet? And I'm sorry to not.
We did. It just closed last week.
Okay.
We had the first thing that we've done unmasked, the first full production that we've done unmasked. We did one show last year that was all online. And which was a really interesting process to go through. And then the second show that we did in the spring, we did masked. And so this was the first one going back that was unmasked.
So tell us about it. What was it, and how did it feel to really be back?
It was really wonderful to see everybody back up on stage. We did it 3 feet of social distancing, so there were some interesting things that had to kind of change there, because there was a more intimate scenes, kissing and dancing, that had to be modified. So the kiss happened off stage, sort of like harkening back to the Greeks, where things would happen off stage. But it went really well, and it was really wonderful to have a live audience again, and to get back into that groove.
Good. So what are the plans for the rest of the academic year? 1 or 2 more productions? Or?
We are doing a workshop production, and that will be directed by our guest artist, Chad Bradford.
When will that be?
That will be in the early spring.
Okay.
He is working on it right now. It is a devised piece put together by our students. And then we're very looking forward to, in the spring, a production of Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
great.
Which we have not ever done that before.
Okay.
It'd be an interesting undertaking.
And Chad is a graduate.
Yes,
He's one of our
yes,
alums.
yes. He graduated in the early 2000s. So yeah.
So this is still not a full. I mean, what's a typical year as far as productions?
Well, we've decided to kind of change things around a little bit anyway. So we are going to be going to a structure of doing a workshop production, what we call a main stage or fully produced production, and then a showcase production, which would happen at the end. So that's going to be our structure moving forward. So that will happen in the fall and in the spring.
Okay.
We're trying to get our students more to produce more work. So the workshop productions will be, the goal is for them to be more student-produced work.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. So any faculty news, retirements, or?
Oh my goodness. The theater program has changed quite a bit. Yes, Kevin Brown, who has been with us for 18 years, will be retiring at the end of this year.
Okay. Our friend who's been on here a lot.
Yes, he has been on here, and he will be. We are bringing him back, though. I'm very excited about this. He is going to be directing the first show that happens in the new building.
Oh, great.
So I don't know what that is yet. They're still deciding.
Or when? I mean,
that'll be in the spring of 2023.
Okay.
So yes,
Okay, excellent.
Even though he'll be retiring, he'll be coming back and directing that.
Good deal.
So very
Good
excited
deal.
about that.
Any other personnel news?
We're going to be searching for a costume person in this semester, and hopefully our technical director. Jamie Bray left in the summer and went up to Theater Squared in Northwest Arkansas.
Okay.
So yeah, and a new AST person, hopefully.
And I was going to ask about Arkansas Shakespeare Theater. What, COVID?
Yeah, that shut us down for a couple of years. We'll be coming back and producing one show this year.
Okay.
And we're working on some new things for that.
Okay.
There's some pretty significant changes that are going to be happening with that. I'm going to save that for a press release, though.
Okay, but it will be back. And next summer.
It will be back next summer
within the college and within the department.
Yes, and within the department.
Okay, excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so what about film?
Film's doing really well. We've had we didn't have any retirements. We did have a position that got filled, I believe, last year, but they are back up and running, fully staffed, and so we got a new position last year as well. So it's really exciting. They're finally back where they need to be. We're working on getting more equipment. We got a bunch of Black Magic cameras last year, so we've been working on that. We are losing our equipment room manager, building manager. He is retiring at the end of this week.
Bruce Miles,
long-time member of our department, so we'll miss him.
So are we back to festivals? Are we doing these again?
Yes, we will be. We did the film festival last year. We did it during COVID. It was online, but we did it in person last year, and we'll be back to doing it again.
So
in
both the
person
graduate and the undergrad
and the
in
undergraduate
spring.
film festival
In the spring.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Excellent. And creative writing has also had some turnover.
We've had we lost. I say lost. Bob May retired last year, and that position has been missed. We've had somebody on sabbatical, Mark Spitzer. So we're getting back to normal. We're getting back to figuring it out. But so glad to be back in the classroom. It's so much better. Film and theater it's very difficult to be online. Again, I said creative writing adapted pretty well, but it's still not 100. That's still not great. So it's fantastic to have everybody back in the classroom again and being able to interact and build that sense of community.
So what did theater and film do for the online? That's an interesting,
a lot of the classes were just taught online. I think
synchronously.
Yes, very much synchronously. I think one of the biggest challenges was acting. It's very difficult to teach acting online. But a lot of people everybody across the nation was doing it, so there were a lot of resources to go from. But we're very glad to be back.
I bet. So let's talk a little bit about the old realignment now. What are we?
Yes,
6 years.
I think we're 6 years into it. Yes.
So we used to be the Department of Mass Communication and Theater.
Yes.
And then now we're the School of Communication. So journalism and creative writing essentially switched places.
Yes.
So how is it going with the creatives together?
It didn't help for me that COVID kicked in immediately because there
Your
was
first year.
Right. Yes. I have been chair through COVID more than anything else. So we are working a little bit. We did a faculty retreat earlier this year about collaboration between the programs, and we are trying to work on that. But it's challenging. It is challenging. We're in 3 different buildings, soon to be 4, and it's really difficult to come together and work together that way.
So what are some of the dreams? What could we? I know former Dean Terry Wright, this I think was a lot of his idea.
Right.
What could we do with this combined
Well, we're
department?
trying to get the playwriting out of creative writing more into the theater program. We already collaborate some on the classes.
Have you ever taught playwriting in theater?
No.
Never had. Okay.
Not that I am aware of,
Okay.
and not in the years that I was here.
Okay.
So we're trying to get that more incorporated. Again, with turnover, so much turnover in faculty, that's really going to be a push starting next year with the theater program.
Sure. And I'm talking long-term dreams.
Yes.
I mean, what could we see?
I think that's a big part of it. I think there are some ideas that kind of go along with new works for the Arkansas Shakespeare Theater. That's very exciting, and I think maybe if we can get that playwriting more incorporated into the two programs.
So it would be housed in the theater program, but or not necessarily?
No, it's really more creative writing, but we have some discussions to do about that, about how that's going to work.
Okay.
So there is some crossover between screenwriting and the screenwriting class that's taught in creative writing and what's happening in film.
Sure. And film has never taught a screenwriting class. Right?
They do. It's mainly there's a script analysis class that does teach that early on in the curriculum, and then it's there in the graduate level courses.
Okay.
But they did teach an undergraduate screenwriting class last year.
So we all thought that there could be lots of opportunities to collaborate. How do you? And I'm facing this too within the School of Communication. How do you get three formerly distinct areas?
Our biggest problem is real estate. Our biggest problem is that if you look at the campus map, we're about as equally far apart from each other on campus as we could be. And it is difficult. It's difficult because the theater people are always, they're working on rehearsals, they're in the shop, they don't really have time to travel around to talk to people. We went to online department meetings, and that's actually worked out really well. Good. But it's problematic because you don't come together in the same physical space and
that
have
was the only
conversations.
time you were seeing each other, the whole department.
Yes, yeah. So it's been a challenge. I don't think that it has worked out as well as envisioned, but that is often the case.
Well, it just presents a challenge to try to make it work. So do you have some ideas? What do you?
Well, as I said, we had that collaboration retreat
Talk about that.
earlier.
Who did that?
I put that together.
Okay.
I think that I'd like to continue doing this. Those aren't conversations that can just happen one time, though.
Right.
Even in an all-day meeting, I think we got the ball rolling. We've had a new faculty member in film, Emily Railsback, who has put together a couple of things to try to bring our students together. Our faculty member, Shelley Connor, put together the Students of Color in the Arts. And so that group was getting off the ground when COVID hit. But that was welcoming all students from film, theater, and creative writing to begin with, and then asked for students from music and art as well.
Oh, okay.
So that was a great thing. It just kind of stalled when COVID hit because it would have been a Zoom meeting, and that's not really
we didn't
optimal.
need another one of those.
Right.
So you've talked a little bit about, opportunities and challenges. Are there other? What did you expect when you took this job? Did you know it was going to be? Of course, nobody could expect COVID. But, What were you thinking by this time?
I think I've discovered that my strength is really problem solving, and so there's a lot of kind of logistical problems that I was really good at solving. I'm good at getting things done. I'm getting things that need to happen, like things that need to happen in the building, getting things painted, getting new furniture, all those kinds of things, moving that kind of stuff through, getting new equipment. I think that, and I come from a collaborative background, but I have struggled with, like I said, the three different building things. It's just a problem that I think we would have gotten farther on if it hadn't been for COVID.
Sure.
So
I think we can't really count the last year and a half.
No.
So
yeah,
you're really only in your second year. So.
I think that's really the thing, is working towards overcoming that. But there have been so many things that have happened this year. It's just been difficult to get back on the ground with that.
I have found it difficult sometimes to go beyond putting out the fires.
Yes. Oh my gosh, there's so many emails, and right now it's just constant emails about I can't get into this class, and so trying to figure all of that out.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to get to those deep those deeper problem solving things.
Yeah.
So hopefully maybe over Christmas I can take a couple of days, and next summer.
Yeah. So it's tough. So let's talk about the new building. So
yes, very excited
you
about
were
that.
involved with that
from the beginning. Yes.
And when was that? It's the Wingate Center for Fine and Performing Arts.
Yes, 2017 or 18. I've kind of lost track of time. We spent a year and a half, 2 years, really working on the programming for the building. It evolved quite a bit. It started out really as a music and theater building, but the cost for that was really exorbitant. Those kinds of facilities, those sound isolated facilities, you're basically building a building within inside of a building. It's very expensive. So that got kind of scaled back, and then with the wonderful grant that received from the Wingate Foundation, it really was, we were able to really upgrade those facilities and put more art in the building. So, but we are very excited because the Black Box Theater that we are getting is going to be really phenomenal and really perfect for what we needed. So that's very exciting.
So will we still have plays at Snow and Bridges Larson?
Probably not as much.
Okay.
There's, we're landlocked.
Sure.
We're in the middle of campus.
That's been the problem for a long time.
Yes, and there's no place to park nearby. And the facility has needed some upgrading, but again, we're hoping to maybe kind of turn it into, or my plan for it is to turn it into more of a facility that can be for student-produced work. So I would love to see us get, of course, new seating and work on some acoustical issues that are going on in there, but have a really nice projector in there for our films to be able, or our students to be able to screen their films. For our students, our creative writing students, to come and do book readings, be able to create a more intimate space there, and then for our theater students to be able to produce if they wanted to just work on some scenes and that sort of thing. So.
But most of the productions then will be in the Black Box.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk about the Black Box. Tell us, what is a black box theater? I'm not sure everybody
Well,
knows.
it is literally exactly what it says it is. It's a black box. And the idea is that in a proscenium theater, you can only do really one configuration. The audience is always facing it, and it looks like a picture frame. With the black box theater, we can reconfigure it for all kinds of different things. It can be what we call end stage, where the audience is all in front. It can be in the round, where the audience is all the way around it, or a thrust, where the audience is like 3/4 of the way around it. We're also going to have this lovely kind of balcony. It's called a tech rail, but a balcony that's up above the audience, where actors could come in. I'm imagining several different Shakespeare things, where the ghost of Hamlet's father could perform. And we'll be able to open that up and be able to, build stairs and things down to the regular level. So it's really exciting because technically we'll be able to do more things than we can do.
It's much more versatile.
It is much more versatile.
Okay, great.
And the scene shop is right behind it, so it'll be really easy to move things in and out.
So you'll have the Black Box Theater and the scene shop.
Yes.
Anything else over there?
We have our makeup rooms, some laundry facilities, a green room, all of the auxiliary spaces that are needed for the performance.
So where is that in the building? I mean, I go by it every day, so where exactly is that going to be?
Boy, it is hard for me to give you directions.
So is it in the middle of the building?
It really is kind of in the middle of the building.
That was the thing that went up first. Was that?
Yeah, I think it was. It was either that or the concert hall. I can't remember which one,
Okay.
but it was one of the first things that went up.
Okay.
And
Have you been
it's-
inside?
No, I need to get over there. I was gonna walk over
Can
there
we
the
go-
other day.
I mean, can you
You
go in there?
can,
Okay.
you can. That's what I'm told. So
Okay.
I just need to get over there and walk around.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
been really interesting to see it. It's been interesting to see it because you can see openings that are way up high, and normally people are like, "Why is there a big opening there?" But having worked on the plans from the beginning,
You know.
oh, well, that's where the doorway is to the stage manager's booth. So that's kind of fun.
Okay, so any offices over there? For you?
Our technical director will mainly be housed over there, so he has an office over there. But that's all that we have. Over
Everybody
there.
else's offices in theater.
We're
going to
stay in
over there.
Snow
Okay.
Fine Arts,
Okay.
and they are. We're going to get some renovations over there, and we're excited about that. Yes, yeah.
So I heard a little bit of talk. I think this was a misunderstanding that the building was going to be for the whole the original College of Fine Arts and Communication, and that was never the case.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that was never the case.
Yeah. So
No, that it's like I said, it started out. It started out with music and theater, and but that evolved. These things are very malleable, and I believe it's the most expensive building that's ever been built on this campus.
I think that's right.
So that's huge. But no, it was never intended to.
Yeah.
I think back in the days when Dean Potter was here, that may have been something that he had
Envisioned,
envisioned,
but it was never going to.
But yes, you have to have the money to do
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
And besides that, this is also going to be one of the largest buildings on campus. To house the entire college would be enormous. All of those sorority buildings that are on Bruce would have to be gone.
Yeah,
There's just
yeah.
not a place for that.
Yeah,
That's enormous.
I think that was just a misunderstanding from the beginning.
Sure.
So what about and Stephen Plate has not been on here yet to talk
Yes.
about this. So
Yeah.
so music will essentially stay in Snow as well, except for the concert hall.
They have a concert hall, they have a recital hall, and they have some really nice studios. I think more of their faculty are going to move over there.
Okay.
They are so, bless their hearts, they have really outgrown their space. They have faculty in closets, and I'm not exaggerating when I say closets. So they will have more. This will give them some room to take a deep breath.
Okay.
But they still are going to be pretty cramped over in Snow.
Yeah. So back to the black box. What is that seat?
Maximum 175.
Okay. And how does that compare to Bridges Larson?
Bridges Larson is around 300.
Okay.
But 175 is really good.
That's a good size.
Yeah, and we probably will. It'll probably be more in the neighborhood of around 150 to 120 is mainly what we'll put in there.
Can you? I mean, those will be permanent seats.
No.
Oh, that's what. Okay,
Well, I mean,
so you can-
they're chairs, but no, we reconfigure it anytime we
any
want.
time, okay,
Yes, we
okay, great,
reconfigure the
great.
audience seating for whatever configuration we want.
Now, will
Yes.
Shakespeare Theater?
Yes,
Will that be
that will be performing in there as
okay.
well.
Away from Reynolds. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Well, I mean, I'm not sure how familiar you are with it, but even Reynolds seats like 1,200. It's huge.
It's too big.
And that works really well if you're bringing a show in for one night because 1,200 people come to see it. But when you're with a play, you're doing it over multiple nights, and 300 or 400 people is about what we would get. And so we ultimately, with the Shakespeare, we ultimately put the audience on stage. It also created a more intimate atmosphere when you're working with the actors. And so that was, and I think that seating was around 175 to 200. So this will actually be much more effective for all of our productions.
What do you envision for? I mean, do you think theater students and film students will hang out over there?
I think film won't.
Film won't,
Film really won't be part of that building.
Okay.
We might do some screenings early on, and if I have my, but it doesn't have the kind of projector over there that we need to screen films. You need a very bright projector.
Okay.
So we're hoping to get that into the Bridges Larson.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Which I think would be a great space for that.
Yes. So what about, what can theater students gain from just kind of being a part of that whole, just creative corridor?
I think we're going to see more interaction between music and art. I am very hopeful that we're going to have more, because the scene shop is being shared between art and theater. So I hope that we get more of those craftspeople from theater, or I'm sorry, from art, to be more involved with theater, and vice versa. So we see more of that interaction between those. We're going to see a lot more of that. And it's interesting, music and theater in the same building at Snow, but we're on different floors. So I think we'll be all right next to each other there. We'll be having a lot of our classes over there, our performances, our rehearsals. A lot of our work study students are over there, so I think we'll see a lot more interaction betweing those groups over there.
Yeah,
yes, it's very exciting.
And then Snow presents some possibilities for renovation, as you've mentioned.
Yes, we are. We're going to get new HV air handling, so that will be lovely. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to get new windows in that building.
Okay.
It's a nice building and very structurally sound, but those windows are a hot mess. It's very hot sometimes, and it's very cold sometimes. So
so that has been needed. So,
yes, yeah.
So that's ideal then.
Yes,
so,
yes, that'll be good. And it's not uncommon to be for a department to be in multiple buildings.
You're just going to have to put your walking shoes on.
I try to get my 10,000 steps in every day anyway, so
I bet you don't have any trouble.
So nope, been doing pretty well on that. Yeah.
So now, just looking forward to. I mean, we're glad to be back in the classroom, and great things are ahead. And and you'll be back here with us to talk about them when they happen.
Maybe next fall.
Maybe next fall. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the building we think will open next fall.
The building will open. I'm not really exactly sure.
It was originally early in the fall.
Yeah,
and now
it was originally supposed to be maybe sometime in the summer, but I don't think we're going to be in there in the fall. I think there will be some spaces in there in the fall. I think here's the thing, because of the academic schedule, you need to be in there in August. So if the building opens in October, that kind of the whole thing is thrown off. So we probably won't actually be in there until the spring, but we'll be able to get in there and get started, get moved in, kind of troubleshoot some stuff in the fall.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And do you see much else changing in Snow? I mean, what's going to happen to those vacated offices from music?
Oh, somebody else is going to take them.
There'll be plenty.
They have people doubled up in spaces, so they're not going to have any trouble filling all of that.
So the major renovation then will be to Bridges Larson.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
We are hopeful. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, Shauna, thanks for joining us
Thank
on
you.
Spotlight. It's good to see you again.
You
and
too.
We'll be back again next time to talk about all these exciting things that continue to happen here.
Very good.
See you next time.